Good evening, and a warm welcome to all our former Grace Notes, directors, friends, and family.
It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
This wonderful group of volunteer singers perform a cappella music from rock and pop,
'Cause we are living in a material world,
to classical, under the direction of a professional director and with the added benefit of music arranged by musicians from around the country. They came together as a group in 1967 after being a part of the Junior League's keynotes. Their official name was the Therapeutical Music Organization. Not exactly appropriate, so they were renamed the Grace Notes. In the old days, the Grace Notes rehearsed 3 hours a week from September to May, not including the hours of work at home. And in the days of larger membership, singing in as many as 16 locations a month.
When I joined the Grace Notes 24 years ago, there was a mandatory summer clinic. That meant you would go to someone's house, you would walk in, there'd be 10 Grace Notes lined up with their tape recorders and their tapes, and they'd say, you have to memorize 8 songs. Okay, fine. The first song we had to learn was Big Boned Gal. Okay, I may have to reconsider.
Helen Bingaman was the Grace Notes director for 20 years. Under her guidance, they reached the high standard of musicianship, which they maintain to this day.
She made us good, and that's why we have the sisterhood. I think you never forget your friends you made in the Grace Notes because you work so hard.
The Grace Notes learned and committed to memory a broad range of repertoire, performing throughout Greenwich and its neighboring communities.
You would be like, okay, now it's time for some entertainment, and we'd have to get up and do our quartetting for you. And it was like torture, scary torture, but it was also your way of, putting us on the spot and getting us up there to sing it and knowing that we had to sing it pretty much perfectly at the time.
Helen's rare combination of musical skill, talent at arranging, and seemingly inexhaustible energy established the Grace Notes as a presence in the Greenwich arts community. Helen was part muse, part shepherd, and part Energizer bunny.
When we finally kiss goodnight, how I hate going out in the storm. But if you really hold me tight,
you know it's a holiday time when the Grace Notes show up at the train station.
But I knew that they would be here, and so we all got up early to come down and see them. They're fantastic.
I love them every year.
In addition to local troopings, the Grace Notes have been honored to sing holiday music twice at the White House.
Barbara Bush came out on the stairs in that area to thank us and to congratulate us. And we had our beautiful shiny blue blouses and the red and blue corded belts. That was a great experience.
And the Grace Notes have sung the national anthem at Shea Stadium.
you are a dancing queen.
And let's not forget a large part of the Grace Notes history, Spring Sing. Once a year, they would travel as far as Colorado, Disney World, or Boston to celebrate a cappella music with up to 10 other a cappella groups. It was a challenging musical presentation, but it was also a great party.
She can't trust him out of sight.
After many years of an annual Christmas show, the Grace Notes decided to put on a children's show for the community at Greenwich Library. It continued for more than a decade. Written by the Grace Notes themselves, usually a fractured fairy tale or a Disney story, they courageously incorporated much of the music from their varied repertoire.
This little boy came home from the show and he said, "Mommy, have you ever seen a frog play the drums?" And And that's what it was all about, getting kids into the magic kingdom.
The first time I heard the audition, when I came for the audition, I was actually really touched and moved, not only by their level of musicianship and their professional demeanor, but also with the purpose and the function of the group is, which is to give back to the community in song, which I actually think is one of the greatest gifts you can give to any community.
The Grace Notes perform, or as they say, troupe, more than 50 times a season for residents and the staff at assisted living centers, nursing homes, and adult daycare.
It wasn't until I'd been in Grace Notes for quite a while that I began to realize that, of course, we're there to cheer up the residents, but we were also, in some small way, a support to the staff.
I was working in the office at Senior Services upstairs, and they were downstairs singing in the Over 60 Club. And I heard the sweetest sound, and I said, there are angels in the building, because that's what their voices sounded like. And I got up and went downstairs and enjoyed their program. And every year when they come to entertain us, I still feel like there are angels in our building.
Happy birthday, we love you.
The Grace Notes also love performing at local elementary schools, and they increasingly find themselves entertaining audiences in Alzheimer's units.
We were singing on an Alzheimer's floor, and there was a woman who wasn't responding at all to anything we were singing. And we found ourselves waiting outside of an elevator. I sang, Sul mare luccica, l'astro d'argento, placide l'onda. And I went all the way through the song, and I got to the end, and I go, Santa Lucia. And she looks up, and she goes, Santa Lucia, in perfect pitch. And boy, oh boy, if that didn't drive it home about the power of music.
Ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from you.
I just want to thank every Grace Note that I worked with for giving me the opportunity to be myself, to be creative, to be spontaneous. It's a part of my life that I feel so blessed to have had. Thank you.
It's been a joy and a pleasure working with them for these past 9 years, working with them. And I hope to continue to make great music for the community.
We have traveled intensely, and we're always there for each other, even after all these years of no longer being Grace Notes, which means that really you are always a Grace Note.